Build professional skills this semester with Adobe Creative Cloud and create standout work both in and out of the classroom. Save big on professional creativity tools. Students get 65% off Adobe Creative Cloud, including Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, Acrobat Pro, and 20+ creative apps. No matter what project you're working on, Adobe Creative Cloud apps can help you take it to the next level. Visit adobe.com/student to learn more.
It's The Other Side of Midnight with Frank Morano.
It turns out that the key demographic in this election may end up being black men. I don't mind telling you, look, I've been wrong about everything in terms of political prognostication for as long as I've been making prognostications. I did not see this one coming. I thought that this was going to be a category that overwhelmingly delivered for Kamala Harris. And yet, based on everything we're seeing, that's not necessarily the case. Case in point, President Obama, who did gargantuan numbers among black men in the 2 times he ran for president, spoke in trying to energize black male voters last week. This is a little bit of what he said at a rally for Harris.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
And my thanks to E. Frank for letting President Obama borrow his phone. But now, if you want to know how seriously the Harris campaign is taking this, you need only look at the media appearances that she's doing. Entities like Charlemagne the God, who is very popular among black men, especially younger black men, but also the policy proposals that she's coming out with. On Monday, she unveiled new proposals focused on helping black men build wealth. It's basically a policy proposal for one group of people, and to build wealth, capitalize on economic opportunities, and protect their rights. We'll get into the details over the next couple of minutes. But someone who I'm eager to, and I have been eager to reconnect with, has been Kevin Jackson. If you're not familiar with Kevin Jackson, you are in for a treat. He's a podcaster, an entrepreneur, a media commentator, an author. He also happens to be black, and there is no shortage of opinions on anything when it comes to Kevin Jackson. Kevin, it's been far too long since last we spoke. It's great to have you back on the air.
What's up, my Negro? Hey, man, you know what's funny, Frank?
Don't judge me by the hair, Kevin. Don't judge me by the hair.
You know, you paisanos, man. You got a little bit of black in you. You know what I'm saying? No, man. Look, I'm having a blast here because first of all, I appreciate you, doing the phone and Negro to get the real scoop on what's going on in the black community.
Yes.
Yeah, and let me tell you, there's no surprise here. Donald Trump has managed to dig deeper into the black psyche. That is the culture of black America than any other political candidate in our lifetime. And I mean, probably, being honest, since Eisenhower, maybe Nixon. And what he's done has awakened a sleeping giant. And I don't know if you've seen the Harry Enton's numbers on CNN where he talked about what Barack Obama got in the young black male vote, the regular just black male vote, and the female black vote. The numbers are astounding. And I'll give you an example. Barack Obama got 81% of the young black male vote. Kamala Harris is at 41%. Barack Obama got it was 93%. Then he got 81% of the total black vote. Kamala Harris is down in the 50%.
Wow.
Barack Obama got 93% of the female vote. Just to put it in perspective, Hillary Clinton got 93%. Joe Biden got 85%. Kamala Harris is getting 71% of the female vote. So 93% down to 71, and it's been trending downward. So what's happening is the black folks, I mean, it seems trivial, but when Trump started the controversy of, is she really black? Now, he came out and said, I don't really care. Remember in the debate, he goes, I don't care if she's black, she's Indian. The question is, people are asking this question because she seems to be what she wants to be when she's around other people. Now, let's back up before all that happened. Donald Trump was able to get black men to wake up for one reason, and I bet you know why. Once they started laying indictments on Donald Trump, the Democrats didn't realize that was the worst thing you could possibly do. You made Donald Trump one of the brothers. You were making a mark. You were targeting him for no reason. It's like driving while black. Get pulled over. What you pull me over for? Because you're a black man in a nice neighborhood. That's what they essentially decided to pull on Donald Trump.
Kevin, let me get you to pause here, because this is such an important point, and this is one of the things that I was going to ask you about, the so-called driving while orange charges that President Trump is dealing with. Other people have said, Trump himself have said this. Stephen A. Smith has said this, and one of the first things that people said when both Trump said this and when Stephen A. Smith said this is, no, that's racist. Black people aren't going to be for you just because you're charged with a crime. What you're saying is maybe there's actually something to that, and it's not racist to think that.
It has nothing to do with race. What it has to do with is it's an idea. We believe, and I'm speaking with for black folks. We believe we are unfairly targeted. Now, you could apply that to institutional racism and all the other things, but we as a culture believe that we are unfairly targeted. And when it comes to the criminal justice system, we totally believe we've been treated unfairly. And if Stephen A. Smith can say what he wants, I guarantee you ask the average brother what he looks at with Donald Trump. He's like, man, how's Trump going to catch a case when, E. Jean Carroll, with no documentation, no proof whatsoever, says he raped me? Well, how many brothers do you think got accused of being raped back in the day? Or just because they looked at a white woman? If you tell me they don't relate to that, you catch a case because you were in a store shopping and they put people on you. Now, I'm not telling you this is pervasive. I'm just telling you this is something that black people discuss on the regular. So we watch Donald Trump. We look at 93 indictments, and the one coming out of your city, New York, says he's a real estate developer who supposedly misstated the value of his properties. And people are going, that's what real estate people do all the time. If I'm going to sell you something, I'm going to tell you it's worth this much. And if you buy it from me, you're a chump. But if you push back and we negotiate, as long as we both agree, we're good. And that's essentially what happened. But everybody can understand that because I'm just telling you, we grow up in the black community understanding this type of stuff. And so the bigger point is this. We can relate. It doesn't mean we sympathize completely, but we can relate. And what they did is they made Trump. It's kind of like when Bill Clinton played the saxophone, right? And the joke was, well, Bill Clinton's black because he can play some. He's into music and he plays the saxophone and he likes chubby white girls, right? It may seem like a joke, but it was something that made black folks, men in particular, relate to him. And you could call it. You could go, man, that's racist, it's silly, it's whatever. Call it whatever you want. But I guarantee you it did make him relatable. And the more that they see the other side of it, and this is what I said, Frank, when I told people, you don't need to worry about if Trump's going to get elected, at least in terms of if he's not cheated. And I'll give you exactly the reason why. And if you don't believe me, you go back and listen to every special interest group. You go listen to the focus groups, all of them. Here's what they'll tell you. I mean, I like Donald Trump, but I know exactly what he says, and I know exactly what he's going to do. Because you know what he's going to do? He's going to do what he says. Now, you may not like it, but he's going to do it. I don't have to question it. I don't go, man, he's telling me he's going to protect the border. He ain't going to protect the border. Look at Kamala Harris. Ask a focus group, what do you think she's going to do? She's a flip-flopper. They don't know. She's untested. And that is a psychological principle. The reason why you called me and not somebody else is because we know each other. Right. You know what I'm going to deliver. You don't call. You can have 5 names on your desk, and you go, and people that are good. But if you didn't interview them, you go, get Kevin. Why? Because you know me. It's the same reason why you picked your wife. It's the reason why you pick your friends, your business partners, whatever. You know them. Sometimes good and bad. You know you got a cousin that you got to watch around your girl. Or you know you got a sister that going to hit you up for money if she finds out you got some. But you love them, but you know them. Trump is the guy that you know, and you may not like it, but you know him. And that, I'm telling you, the psychological principle of that is so big in this election cycle, it's going to blow people's minds.
Let me ask you about this interview that she did with Charlemagne the God. And clearly she's been doing more interviews, which, you know, at the beginning of the campaign, she wasn't doing any interviews. Now she's gradually doing more and more. She's all over the place. When she was on with Charlemagne, she was asked about her adherence to talking points. Here's a little bit of what she said in this discussion.
What do you say to people who say you stay on the talking points?
I would say you're welcome. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I love having conversations, which is why I'm so happy to be with you this afternoon. And the reality is that there are certain things that must be repeated to ensure that I have everyone know what I stand for and the issues that I think are at stake in this election. Mm-hmm. And so it requires repetition. You know, some people say that until someone has heard the same thing at least 3 times, it just doesn't stay with you. So repetition is important. And for that reason, yes, at my rallies, I say the same thing when I go to Detroit as I do in Philly, as I do wherever I am, to make sure that people hear and receive what I think are some of the most critical issues that are at stake in this election.
Kevin, what did you make of the decision to do the interview with Charlemagne itself? And then what did you make of the interview itself?
So, I mean, the decision to do the interview is pretty evident. She's losing the black audience, and I gave you the numbers. Kamala Harris statistically, and by the way, neither could Joe Biden. If you go look, if I give you the numbers, a sliding scale between Obama, Clinton, Biden, and Harris, Biden couldn't statistically win either. Trump supposedly got 12% of the black vote, and that's enough to win any election. So, but he lost, and we all know why. But going back to, let's answer a couple of questions. One, we know it's desperation. That's why she picked Charlemagne the God. It's going to be a relatively easy interview because I don't even like calling him the God. I call him Charlemagne the dog. But it's a relatively easy interview, soft shoe stuff. Even when she says things that he should push back on, he's not going to do it. And I'll give you a perfect example. When everybody made a big deal when Joe Biden said on his show, you ain't black, right? That was the big deal. There was a bigger deal that happened on his show that nobody talks about. And let me tell you what it was. Charlemagne the God says, "How you doing, Mr. Vice President?" He says, "Doing fine, doing great. You know, we're over here. That's why I'm doing your show. We're out making the rounds." And he, gave some platitude like that. He says, "What about you? How you doing?" And Charlemagne the God, the dog, says, I'm black, blessed, and highly favored. I'm doing great." And you know the first thing out of Joe Biden's mouth? You probably don't know, do you?
I don't remember, no.
He said, "No, you're not." He says, "Your people are getting, raked over the coals by this guy." That's what Joe Biden said back to a guy who told him, "I'm doing fine." Now, if I were doing that interview, I would have said, "With all due respect, Mr. Vice President, don't tell me how I'm feeling. I gave you my answer. Mm-hmm. I'm black, blessed, and highly favored. Now let's move on." Well, but he didn't have the guts to do that.
By the way, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to get into what Harris is proposing now with her tailor-made proposal for black men. Why do you hold Charlemagne in such little regard that you call him Charlemagne the dog rather than Charlemagne the God? I don't care. I'm just curious.
For exactly the reason I just told you. He doesn't get to the issues. He's already made up his mind that he's a Democrat. He doesn't. He goes along with the line that Trump is a racist. Why? Because of the Central Park Five or whatever. It's like asking people, do you think OJ did it? And if a black guy goes, yeah, I think he did it. Oh, you Uncle Tom. Ask a white person, you think OJ did it? No, oh, you're a racist. No, I just don't. The facts I've been seeing, that's what I say. So I don't like that he doesn't get to the meat of it. And he's already, even when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris say the most stupid, insane things, look at the interview that she did with him, dissect it, and ask yourself anything that she helped black folks. This is a woman that put black men in prison because they smoked reefer, as she bragged on the show that she smoked reefer, and then lied and said she listened to Tupac and Snoop Dogg while she was smoking reefer in college, and neither of those Negroes had even made music up to that point. And he still doesn't call her out. That's what pisses me off about these guys. They're disingenuous liars. They've watched Barack Obama destroy the black community. They watched Joe Biden do nothing for the black community, and now they want more? I mean, he should have been holding her butt to the fire, asking her about the criminal justice stuff that she did, and asking her about this immigration policy that's hurting black folks all over this country. But he doesn't. That is a sellout, and that's why I call him Charlemagne the dog.
Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner, by knockout, is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
Shopping is hard, right? But I found a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And he sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what works and send back the rest. It's so easy. Make style easy. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
Get ready for Universal Epic Universe, featuring the wizarding world of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, and Super Nintendo World. Now open at Universal Orlando Resort. Tickets and packages on sale now at universalorlando.com.
All right, let me ask you about this proposal that Kamala Harris came out with to help black men. Okay, so apparently it's going to provide 1 million forgivable loans of up to $20,000 to black entrepreneurs. It's going to launch a national health equity initiative focused on black men. It's going to legalize cannabis at the federal level to break down what she called unjust legal barriers that hold black men and others back. It's going to lower costs for enacting the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging, and it's going to lower rent and provide down payment assistance to triple the number of first-time black homeowners. I know you're not exactly undecided in the presidential election, but what did you make of this proposal on the merits, Kevin?
It's a pander. Look, if you came out and said we're going to do this for white folks, I'd be mad about it. Look, if you're going to do something, do it for everybody.
I wish we would do something for white folks. Believe me.
Trust me, white folks, y'all are catching the brunt of it, and I chuckle at you all the time because I tell people all the time, if I was white, they would be calling me the grandmaster of the Klan because I would be complaining every single day about these silly Negro legislation. I mean, think about the stuff that she wants to do. We're going to give $20,000. What about the white people that are struggling in their businesses? You think they could use an additional $20K? Let me tell you, give most of the brothers that I know $20,000, and I ain't being mean about it because brothers know what I'm about to say. Give most of the brothers $20K. Call Chrysler because they're going to be buying 300s because they ain't putting it in businesses. Number one, if you don't know how to run a business, you might as well just throw them and go burn it because if you don't know how to run a business successfully, you're just burning the money. That's why they make it forgivable. So in other words, if you file bankruptcy with this money, we're still going to let you have it. It's just another form of reparations. And you know what it is. It's a pander because she's losing the black male vote. And they make it sound like it's for black entrepreneurs, which on its surface is racist anyway. But she's really targeting young black men. And that's the undertone of it because she knows she's lost that vote.
It's going to be very interesting to see where the campaign goes from here. It sounds like you're pretty confident as a Trump supporter at this point.
I'm so confident I would bet. Let me tell you, I don't know. They take odds on it in Vegas. Put your money on Trump. When it got down to where Kamala Harris was favored, man, that was the easiest money on the planet. Donald Trump, and I don't know if you saw it, Elon Musk did an ad hoc deal poll.
I saw that.
Came out 70-30, right? Then Mark Cuban didn't believe it. He I can't believe it. So he did it on his site, which is a bunch of lefties. It came out 69 to 31. That is the real America. 69 to 70% of the people want Trump. 30% of the idiots would vote for Kamala Harris. And that is the number. It'll end up being something like 60-40 with the big cheat. But Donald Trump is going to wipe her butt. He wiped the floor with her butt. just like he did with Hillary Clinton, and it's setting up the same way. They made it sound like she was the next best thing. I called it Baby Black Jesus version 2.0, as if she would. Michael Steele himself actually said on MSNBC that she brought the same level of excitement that Barack Obama brought in 2008. I dare you, ask your audience if anybody felt like that about that Barack Obama brought in 2008. Look, I'm a realist. Barack Obama in 2008 was Elvis and Michael Jackson and the Beatles all rolled into one. And by the end of his term, nobody remembered his name. They want to make you believe that Kamala Harris, the worst VP, suddenly was a rock star status like Barack Obama. And look where we find ourselves today. That comment she made about, people want to remember stuff. Let me tell you, does anybody remember the strategy that they had against Trump where he was supposed to be a felon and that was going to ruin it? Where are they talking about felon? If they want to reinforce something, where is that? What about weird, Frank? You remember the weird period? Who's weird? Who's more weird, J.D. Vance or Walz? Okay, then they're talking about Donald Trump. His health is no good. What next? They're going to be asking him about his taxes. You ask where is it going to go? Don't be surprised if you see Kamala Harris trying to go into the hood, eat some chitlins, and play some dominoes with some people, so to try to make herself look even more black. Because she's losing in every demographic. Donald Trump will win in a landslide. And if the Democrats couldn't cheat, nobody in America would even be worried about this election if Democrats couldn't cheat.
If people are just tuning in, we're talking with Kevin Jackson. If you're not familiar with his work, you're in for a treat. You can go to the KevinJacksonNetwork.com. A whole world opens up. A whole multimedia network opens up. You know, the numbers that you cited about sort of the decline in support among black males from Obama to Harris, and depending on what poll you look at, if you look at black males alone, 95% of black male voters supported Obama in 2008, and apparently, according to the polling, about 68% of black male voters have a favorable view of Harris. That doesn't even mean they're going to vote for her, just means they have a favorable view. I'm wondering, you mentioned the felon issue, which I certainly think is interesting. One of the things that obviously Trump is best known for over the last 8 or 9 years is his positions on immigration. One of the things I've seen is whether it's construction, whether it's the service industry, you're seeing a lot of jobs that used to be occupied by blacks now being given to immigrants, both legal and illegal. Do you think that's playing into this decline in black support for Harris?
That's part of it, but I'll tell you what was probably the biggest thing, if you ask me, like what is the single biggest thing that I've seen in looking at trends? It was when this illegal went into a grocery store, dropped their SNAP card receipt, and it had $13,000 left on it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, no, I remember that. That was something, yeah.
That thing resonated through the black community like sickle cell. I mean, people went crazy. You're talking about they giving these people, they got this much money on a SNAP card. Black folks don't have $500 in the bank. And these people are banking $13,000 in grocery, and they learn that they're giving them 2 years of free rent, free housing wherever they are. They're displacing black folks out of housing that they could afford. Now they can't afford it, and those people are now homeless in many cases, et cetera. It resonated to such a degree, man, that it's crazy. Now, you go into the job part of it, yes, it impacts jobs. But the thing that stops you cold, and I know the job thing is it, but when you got to eat day to day. I can have a job and complain that I can't get a better job, but I got to eat every day. So when I see that somebody else is getting thousands of dollars of free food, and I got to work hard to get my food, and the government's not giving me anything, and there's all this talk about reparations and all this other stuff, it resonates more in the black community than normal. And then the idea that the Biden administration wants to blame Donald Trump when I saw this interview today with Bret Baier and Kamala Harris, and he asked her point blank, you guys are responsible for this. And she's like, no, it's Trump. He stopped our policy. No, he didn't. They had all these executive orders that let these illegals come into the country, and now we're dealing with the fallout. Now, I think in the bigger picture, taking it out of the black realm, Look at the devastation being done by these Venezuelan gangs, these Colombian gangs, the rapes increasing. We just get the new FBI report from 22 that shows the crime level. Wait till you get 23 and 24, and they show the crime levels, the real crime levels. So you take that into the real macrocosm out of just the black community and take it into the public at large, and you will see the beauty of Donald Trump is you may not like abortion. You know, maybe say, I don't like his pro-life stance, even though he didn't do anything against you. But let me tell you what you aren't. You aren't a one-trick pony anymore voting strictly on abortion. You're voting on inflation. You're voting on crime. You're voting on opportunity. You're voting on trade policy. You're voting on closing that border. I mean, you're voting on a lot of stuff. And when you weigh that, let me tell you this. I don't know how many abortions you're going to have, but I know you got to eat every day.
Great point. Kevin Jackson, it is always a treat to talk with you. Let's do this again soon.
You got it, brother.
Check him out, thekevinjacksonnetwork.com or on Twitter at Kevin Jackson TBS. If you want to comment, you're certainly welcome to do so. 646-720-0635. That's 646-720-0635. This is The Other Side of Midnight. Straight ahead.